You ever just look around and get this feeling that the world is right on the edge of some kind of massive change? Like the old ways of doing things are just creaking and groaning, and something totally new is about to be born. Well, what if that's not just a feeling? Let's dive into some really fascinating systems that suggest there's a very specific timetable for this whole global shift.
Yeah, see, this feeling isn't just in the air. This quote kind of nails it. There are actual models, some ancient and some surprisingly modern, that all seem to point to this exact period in history as a huge tipping point. It's wild. It's like from all these different corners of esoteric thought, the same message is coming through. We are living through something big.
So that's really the big question we're digging into here. What if all the chaos we're seeing isn't random at all? What if the fact that all these institutions we used to trust are failing at the same time is actually part of a predictable, much larger pattern, a change in the planet's very programming? According to the sources we're looking at, there might be a precise clock we can use to understand what on Earth is going on. All right, so to get a handle on where we might be headed, we first have to take a really honest look at where we are right now. And from politics and the media to our entire economic system, it is becoming super clear that a major shift is already happening. Think about it. Governments, organized religion, global finance, big corporations, these were the pillars that have held up our society for centuries. But according to these sources, their time is up. And the point isn't to try and fix what's broken. It's about realizing that the entire program that supported them in the first place is expiring. To really understand this potential shift, we need to zoom out, way out, and look at how ancient cultures thought about time. See, they didn't see it as a straight line, like we do. For them, it was these vast repeating cycles, almost like a giant cosmic clock that determines when empires rise and fall and what themes define whole civilizations. And this right here is the biggest hand on that cosmic clock, the Great Year. It's based on this incredibly slow wobble in the Earth's rotation. Now, ancient evolutionary astrologers paid super close attention to which constellation the sun was rising in on the spring equinox. They believed that told them everything about the ruling consciousness for humanity for the next couple thousand years.
And this just lays it all out so clearly. Proponents of this say you can literally map these astrological ages to the biggest shifts in human history. The age of Gemini lines up with writing, the age of Taurus with agriculture. Aries, well, that was all about war and conquest. For the last 2,000 years, we've been deep in the age of Pisces, totally defined by organized religion. And now, we are right on the cusp of the famous age of Aquarius, which is all about tech and totally new ways of thinking.
And it's not just Western astrology either. Hindu scriptures talk about a very similar cycle of ages, called yugas. The last and most difficult one is the Kali Yuga, the age of darkness and greed. Now, according to some scholars like Bubu Dev Misra, this dark age may have just ended in early 2024, clearing the path for a new golden age to finally begin.
Okay, so those ancient cycles are really cool, but let's be honest, they're incredibly broad. The themes are kind of vague, and the timelines are thousands of years long. So that leads to the next question. Are there any more precise ways to measure these shifts? Well, according to some, the key to a much more accurate clock was revealed just a few decades ago.
According to a lot of sources, a huge turning point happened in 1987. It was called the harmonic convergence, an event based on interpretations of Mayan calendars. And for the very first time, tens of thousands of people gathered at sacred sites all over the world in a synchronized global meditation for peace. This event is really seen as the thing that kicked off this huge wave of spiritual awakening, with tons of people suddenly starting to channel and explore higher consciousness.
And in that exact same year, something else happened. A man from Canada, a total skeptic named Ray Uru-Hu, claimed to have this incredible 8-day encounter with what he called the voice. And this voice supposedly downloaded this insanely complex and detailed system for understanding humanity and the cosmos, which he called human design.
So here's the crucial part. Human design is basically presented as a massive upgrade to those ancient cycles. Instead of these vague 2,000-year-long ages, it claims to be a high-resolution map of the background frequency of our planet. It allows for much more specific predictions about the themes that are shaping our world.
And this is where it gets really specific. Because across several of these modern systems, one particular year keeps popping up. It's the moment the old program is said to officially end and a brand new one begins.
Yup, 2027.
According to the information that Ra-Uru-Hu supposedly received, the background frequency that has been programming humanity for over 400 years is set to expire on February 15, 2027. And this isn't just some minor update. We're talking about a complete operating system change for planet Earth.
Okay, so this slide really breaks down the heart of the prophecy. For the last 400 years, we have been in an era called the Cross of Planning, and its entire purpose was building all the stuff you see on the left: communities, tribes, institutions, all designed to provide collective support and safety nets. But the new era, the Cross of the Sleeping Phoenix, is a total 180. As you can see on the right, the new frequency is all about radical individuality, self-sufficiency, and relying on your own inner authority, not these big external structures.
And what's wild is that modern astrology seems to back up this exact time frame. Astrologer Pam Gregory points out that it's just mathematically insane for all the slow-moving outer planets to change signs in such a short little window. They're all moving from these heavy, slow earth and water signs into fast, dynamic air and fire signs. This is a massive energetic shift. It's like we're taking our foot off the brake and slamming it on the accelerator for rapid, revolutionary change.
And it doesn't stop there. Here's another layer. Richard Rudd, the founder of the Gene Keys system, which actually grew out of human design, also points to this exact time frame. He talks about a fundamental genetic mutation that's starting to take hold in humanity, and he says that the completion of the beginning of this mutation would be by, you guessed it, 2027. It's yet another system pointing to the exact same door in time.
So, if any of this is even remotely correct, what does it all actually mean? I mean, what could our world, and even our own bodies, look like after this shift? Well, the sources suggest this isn't just about society or politics changing. It's a biological evolution. The theory is that new energies from the cosmos are flipping on switches in our dormant DNA. Some mystics call this our 24th chromosome, which they believe is linked to multidimensional abilities. And this is supposedly triggering a metamorphosis from our current carbon-based bodies to something they describe as a more light-based, crystalline biology.
The list of predictions for what this new era might look like is, well, it's pretty mind-blowing. We're talking quantum leaps in technology, like flying cars and even teleportation. Rediscovering ancient tech like free energy. Humans just naturally developing psychic and telepathic abilities. A complete flip away from top-down power structures. And maybe, just maybe, an end to poverty and war.
So let's bring all of this back down to Earth for a second. What's the practical takeaway? You know, regardless of the more cosmic predictions, the one core message that comes through loud and clear is this. The era of looking for external saviors, governments, gurus, institutions, is over. It has to be, because those structures are part of the old expiring program. This new world, this incoming frequency, it demands that we learn to trust ourselves and develop our own inner knowing, not as some kind of spiritual luxury, but as a fundamental tool for survival. So, is this all just some wild fringe prophecy? Or is it a genuine blueprint for the future that is unfolding right in front of us? The sources we've looked at all seem to agree on one thing. This isn't a question for the distant future. The alarm clock is set for 2027, and we are all about to find out.